Hello?
Hey, hey, hey. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi, Charlene. How are you? I think she's unmuted.
Yeah, it's supposed to mute everybody when they first come in.
Oh,
And if you want to, you can start your video. You don't have to, but everyone's welcome to.
sure.
There you go.
I'm going to look cuter than that.
Ha 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 ha. Hey, hey, hey.
Hey. Good morning, everyone. Everyone off from work
Good
today?
morning. It's like 9:59. We'll wait just another minute or so, and then we will get started. So glad y'all joined me today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for facilitating. There she is.
Good morning.
Okay, I think I would like to go ahead and start, and then if others join us, that's great. And if not, this is recording, so we'll be able to go back to it and share it with others, and hopefully a lot of people will benefit from it. The idea for this is to start our week off the right way and to ponder and contemplate and consider meaning and how to have more meaningful lives. And I wanted to start today, of all days, the day in which we honor arguably the greatest American to ever live, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I wanted to talk about finding meaning through service to others. And so what we'll do, I'm going to introduce the topic, share a few thoughts. If you have questions or comments, please type them in the chat and we'll try to get to all of them. And then if you have something you want to share in just a few minutes, we'll open it up and you just let us know if you want to share something. We'd love to have you ask questions or make comments, share thoughts, anything you would like to. So I want to start by reading a couple of quotes by Dr. King. These are a few of my favorites of his, and that's saying a lot because there's probably no one except Rumi do I quote more than Dr. King. An individual has not started living until he can rise above the narrow confines of his individualistic concerns to the broader concerns of all humanity. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? Viktor Frankl argued that the way to have a meaningful life is to have purpose. And his observations through the worst circumstances imaginable, through the Holocaust, was that those who woke up with a purpose in the morning were able to, I hesitate to use the word, but thrive to the best of the ability to thrive in that situation, because they had purpose. And to me, one of the greatest purposes we can have is what we do for others. I think we're all given gifts and talents. And I think you could, I do agree that talent is overrated, and the talent is the smallest part of anything we ever do. I think the biggest gift we're given is the desire to pursue a talent, to pursue a gift, and to develop it and invest those 10 years and 10,000 hours and all that it takes to become proficient at something. And we can develop our gifts. And let's just say, for the sake of argument, and I'm not saying that I do, but let's say that I have the gift of writing, and that in writing novels, that's one of the gifts I have. And that for the last 26 years, I have pursued that in a way that with focus and intention, and in every way I possibly could, I've tried to become a good novelist. Maybe a great novelist is my goal. What if in that pursuit, that's all I did, and I never published a single word? I never took that gift that I have invested so much in and shared it with others. Think about the musicians among us, the painters, the teachers. What if in developing their gifts, they never shared them, never gave them away? I think some of the greatest meaning we ever derive is from sharing with others, giving to others. Jesus said that the greatest among us are those who serve. If you think about leadership qualities, whether it's in business, religion, politics, whatever arena it is, we, I think, have a wrong-headed culture that says leaders control, they cajole, they manipulate, they dictate. And I think the greatest leaders, if you look at Jesus, if you look at the Zen masters, you look at the Buddha, when someone comes with questions or concerns, what they are given are more questions and maybe a story that says, you go figure this out. You go ponder this. You go think about this and use this to come up with your own answers. We become meaningful in people's lives, not by controlling them, but by helping them find meaning, maybe facilitating in some way for them to arrive at meaning. What is meaning for them? What is a meaningful life for them? And today, on this special day in which we honor Dr. King, I think about, and the reason I truly believe and agree with so many of those who say that he is the greatest American to ever live, is because everything he accomplished, and there was so much serving that he did for others. He served our country in a way, as well as he was serving those who were oppressed. But he did so under such assault and attack, constant pressure, constant. And yet he always forgave. He always served. He never resorted to violence. And to me, that's the greatest example that we could have, that nonviolent protest, that nonviolent standing for what really matters. And of course, you can go back to Gandhi and Jesus and so many others. But to me, our greatest modern example is Dr. King. I want to end my brief remarks before we open it up to discussion with a couple of warnings. One is that I think the greatest serving we can do is when we choose to do it. I think if we have been programmed, that if we don't feel good enough, if we have codependency tendencies where our default setting is serving, our default setting is doing for others, to the exclusion of doing for ourselves, or self-care, or taking care of ourselves, or seeking our own meaning, that can be a meaningful type of life, but it's not nearly as meaningful if we don't choose to do it. I don't think we can truly be altruistic in our actions if we're not making the choice. If we could have just as easily have said, no, I am not going to do that. No, that's not my calling. No, that's not for me. Or to say, yes, there's a lot of other things I could be doing, but I choose to serve. I choose to take this opportunity to extend myself on the behalf of someone else. And to me, that's one of the greatest definitions of love, is the extension of ourselves on the behalf of others. The vulnerability that it comes, because you extend yourself and maybe it's rejected, maybe it's abused, maybe it's, not received in any kind of good way. That's being vulnerable, and extending ourselves means there's sacrifice involved. And I don't think we can make a sacrifice unless we're really choosing. We have a good sense of self. We feel intact. We feel loved. And out of that, we serve. And I think it's the most rewarding thing that we can do. The last thing I would say is that we need to remember that in serving and doing for others, we are simultaneously doing for ourselves. Nothing feels better than helping others. Nothing feels better than extending ourselves and being of service and spreading love and kindness. And it's seductive. And the danger is that we derive such pleasure and gratification from it, and we don't acknowledge that. We don't say, what I'm doing for me as well as you. Dr. Peck, the father of the self-help movement we're still in all these years later, who wrote The Road Less Traveled, I got the great privilege of hearing him speak and talking to him. And one of the things he said is there's no such thing as unselfishness. He said there's good selfishness and bad selfishness. There's not unselfishness. And I'm not sure I completely agree with that. I do think altruistic acts are actually possible, but I think he makes a great point, and that is we should always remember that what we're getting out of serving others is beneficial to us in a huge way. And acknowledging that should help us stay humble and open and grateful for the opportunity, and not so much playing the role of hero or savior, which I have certainly had a tendency to do and I'm trying to work on. The other thing, the final part of this, is the most dangerous thing is serving others, doing for others in order to avoid working on ourselves. If I can help you with your problems, I might could just avoid mine. I might could just pretend like I don't have any. And that's so dangerous. So I think the safest thing to do is constantly examine ourselves, our motives, what we're doing, our actions, but also looking at what's behind those actions and say, am I doing this to avoid working on the things that I need to be working on? Am I helping you with that little tiny speck of sawdust in your eye when there's a huge board in mine because I'm avoiding that? So that's what I wanted to share this morning. We still have quite a while. If anybody would like to ask a question or make a comment or share anything, would absolutely love for you to do. You just sort of wave, raise your hand, or anything you want to. And yes, you're probably, I should say
I'm
this
muted.
too.
Can you hear me?
When you come in, you're probably muted, so you might have to unmute yourself. So, and it's great.
Brother.
It's probably best if we stay muted until we're actually speaking. But anyway, so it's Denise. I think it sounds like you're unmuted.
Oh, unmuted.
You're good. Yeah, you're good.
Thank you for organizing this, Michael, and for offering us a little time to share our feelings on the subject of finding meaning through service. So 3 things come to mind when I think of service. I think of human needs. I think of the ripple effect, and then I think of burnout. So a little bit on the human needs. There are 6 basic human needs. We have certainty and comfort. We have uncertainty and variety, which is kind of the opposite of the first need. Significance, love and connection. And those first 4 needs are kind of the needs of the personality. They're like, Maslow's hierarchy. We need these things to survive. We need to be comfortable, loved, connected. And then we get to our next level needs of growth, which, as far as I'm concerned, if you're not growing, you're dying. So that's a biggie. And then another need, kind of more of the spirit versus the personality, would be contribution and giving, and in most cases, I think we need to meet our first four needs before we can even begin to explore next level needs. So kind of to transition from that surviving to thriving. I think the fact that we're all here today, we're probably up in 5 and 6 of the growth and the wanting to self-actualize and give and that kind of thing. So yay. I do think that those are probably the most fulfilling of all the needs. But again, you got to be ready for it, right? And then thinking about that ripple effect, A.D. Williams, the brother of Martin Luther King, Dr. King, the younger brother, said, imagine what 7 billion humans could do if we loved and respected each other. I mean, no greed, no competition, no comparison, everybody kind of running their own race, but yet cheering each other on along the way. And I don't know that we'll ever see this type of civilization in our lifetime, but we can certainly start with ourselves, and we can build our world to kind of unravel in this way. And I don't even know who said this, but no matter how cool, rich, educated you think you are, it's how you treat people that tells all, and your integrity is everything. How do we make others feel? We can give monetarily, we can give by listening. That's one I have trouble with. I'm a chatty human being, and listening is something that challenges me. So I promise I'm wrapping it up. And you can just build somebody up, support them, believe in them. That's a service. Anne Frank said that in the long run, the sharpest weapon of all is a kind and gentle spirit. So so wise. And being present and supportive to other human beings. We're all just trying to walk each other home, and kindness is something that is just, you can't put a price on it. It spreads like a virus. That's one super spreader that I would like to be, is a kindness super spreader. And but on the flip side of that, like you said about your motives or taking care of yourself, putting the oxygen mask on yourself before you give it to others. There's such such a cause for, I'm a nurse, and I'm thinking about all the frontline nurses during COVID-19. The burnout they must be experiencing day after day. Like, we thought this thing would last 2 weeks. Oh yeah, we can do this for 2 weeks or a month. Sure, we got this, we can do it for a month. And what the heck, it's like 11 months, and now we're talking next June maybe, or next fall, that it's not going to be part of our new normal, whatever that is. And I just think of the moms and dads who are homeschooling their kids and didn't plan on that. That's giving, that's just being so, selfless. And I think that a lot of people are very tired, and yet feeling like they can't give up, kind of thing. Kind of like you said about Dr. King, it was just chronic opposition and going against the current, and yet he never gave up. So there's kind of that human giver syndrome that is worrisome, and self-care being so important. Sometimes it feels like you're being selfish when you taking care of yourself. That's how I feel anyway. So I don't know how to really protect that peace. Peace, P-E-A-C-E. And so I don't know if anybody else feels like that. I know Brene Brown talks about being bulletproof. We're all bulletproof. Nothing's bothering me. And, nobody's bulletproof. Dr. King wasn't bulletproof. So, we need to say when we're not okay, and to not rob others of the joy that we get from helping others. Sometimes we need the help. And so don't rob
Great
them of
point.
that joy. Anyway, I'm done. I promise.
Very good. Vanessa, did you?
Oh, I was
Excellent.
going to
Thank
say,
you, Denise. Go ahead.
yeah, that was great, and thank you so much, Michael, for this topic. I was just thinking one of the ways that I think of service is just being a loving listener. Listening to somebody compassionately. That's really of service, and just what was said earlier. It's also service to receive, because you are robbing people of the joy. I know how great it makes me feel when I do something for someone else, just like Michael was saying. And I ran across this, and I don't know who wrote it. It's called A Living Sermon. And I just happened to stumble across it and thought, with this topic, that I'd just go ahead and read it. It says, "A living sermon. I'd rather see a sermon than hear one any day. I'd rather one should walk with me than merely show the way. I can soon learn how to do it if you let me see it done. I can watch your hands in action, but your tongue too fast may run. All the lectures you deliver may be very wise and true, but I'd rather get my lesson by observing what you do. Though I might not understand you and the fine advice you give, there is no misunderstanding how you act and how you live." And I just think that being an example of what to do is a really great service to others. Let it begin with us, or let it begin with me. So thank you. I really love that you're doing this. What a great way to start the week, meaning Mondays. So that's all I've got. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to also share. And thanks for listening.
Thank you so much. Thank both of you. 1 second, I'll come to you. I just wanted to say that, throughout the majority of my life, starting really, really young, I've been someone who served others, and, went into the helping profession through counseling and ministry. And just I've always played that role. And the vast majority of my relationships have been, sort of one-sided. I'm the helper, right? I'm the doer, the giver. And I have some absolutely amazing children. And obviously, raising your children, you are the primary giver. You give and give and give and give and give. And as adults, these amazing children said to me, "Dad, why are you always okay? Why are you always good? Why can't we do anything for you?" And they have so much to offer and so much to give. And I was robbing them of that by making it a one-sided relationship with these amazing adults, and trying to stay in a role that we should have grown out of. And I was so grateful that they said that, and that we transitioned into that. And I call on and rely upon them, and that is giving them the opportunity, like Denise said, that I was hogging up. I was taking it all, and to give them that was such a blessing and gift to them as well as me. So I just wanted to say that is such an important aspect to this. Yes, ma'am, you go ahead. I thank you. There you go.
Thank you all for being on the Zoom. And I just wanted to piggyback on what a couple of you gals have said, that and Michael too, you cannot steal someone else's blessing. If they want to bless you, it's really selfish to not be gracious and say thank you, and let them have a chance to have that feel good also. In my downstairs powder room, I have a painting from a young artist in our area, and it's "Bloom Where You're Planted." And I'm sure you've seen that in many, many places. And every time I'm in the bathroom, I see that, and it's like, stay in your own lane, do what you can do in your neighborhood and your community. And you don't have to have delusions of grandeur and try to, um, influence the world or even your community, but bloom where you're planted. And that's one of the things that I try to do, is the little things. And the other thing is, show me your fruits. Don't tell me that you love me. Show me.
Right.
And that's what I told my husband when he wanted to marry me. I said, well, can you run the dishwasher? Can you make the bed? Can you do a grocery run? Show me what you can do. Don't tell me. So I think it's so important for us to be on that bandwagon too. Show people that you love them, that you care about them. And I know, Michael, you do that in your community, and you inspire us so much for the work that you do in your hometown, to bring them along and make sure that everybody has what they need, not necessarily what they want, but what they need to continue. And I think that is just so wonderful. And that's all I want to say is thank you. And thank you, everybody, for just joining us. I think just it's so great. And we can't get out and hug one another. So I just send you a big hug because that's really what I want to do. And we can't do it. And this is a good way to try and reach out to people, So
Absolutely.
that's it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful. Related to that and what I mentioned earlier, you think about someone like Jesus, who spent so much of his time giving, teaching, serving, healing, feeding, and you would find him often alone, early in the morning, late at night, receiving, connecting, re-energizing, having something to then take out and share with others, when he went back out. But that was his connection with the divine. But we also saw that in his culture and society, those who were considered to be the very least, he received from. And when children approached, sex workers, the lowest of the low, as far as his culture was concerned, would come with gifts, with service to him, whatever it was, he always received. He never said, dude, do you not know who I am? I'm Jesus. There's nothing you can give to me. I got this. Let me give to you. No, every time it was, thank you. And when others around would try to stop them, Master, don't let them do that. No. He's like, no, they're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. And I'm receiving this amazing gift they are giving me. Anyone else have anything they'd like to share or ask or anything?
I think it's all about grace, Michael.
Absolutely. And I think someone else used the word gracious, which is related to grace. Receive graciously, give graciously. In our service of others, if we're truly giving, what that action says is, these things are not mine anyway. The resources I have access to, I'm just a manager. I'm just a steward of those for a relatively short time. And by sharing those with you, it shows I'm not trying to possess or to own. I'm not saying this is mine. I'm saying I'm just a manager, and I'm sharing with you what I have. And that includes our gifts and our talents, our callings, our physical and natural resources, whatever it is that we have. I think the act of sharing says so much about non-attachment and not saying that it's mine.
You've been such an inspiration to me through your work, and I've just begun to actually read your novels, even though you've been in your acts of kindness in person and you know, emails, and I've seen you working in your community. You've been such an inspiration to me, and you know, that rubs off on me. And what you were saying about selfishness, to me, selfishness is a dirty word if it's taken the wrong way, but to be full of oneself, to have self love, as you were saying earlier, is, you know, an amazing thing to begin with.
Absolutely. And I do go back to that if we're not loving ourselves, caring for ourselves, how could we think we could ever do that for someone else? You know, and a lot of times we do try to skip that process, that step. And because we're not truly loving ourselves, we're trying to love others, and in a really perverse way, to get them to love us, to get them to reassure us that we are worthy and that we are, you know, can be loved, rather than saying, you know, I have received this tremendous love, and what I want to do is share it with you because it's not mine. I don't possess it. I want it to flow through me. It doesn't originate with me. It just hopefully can flow through in some small way. I think, and we'll wrap up with this unless anybody has anything else they'd like to say. I am convinced, as probably most of you know, that a meaningful life is possible for all of us, but it has to involve intentionality. It has to involve mindfulness, and that's what this is about, is reminding us. I really don't think anything was said this morning that you know, we didn't know, but to be reminded of it. I believe, and I can only speak for me, but I believe I will have a more meaningful day because of this, because of what we shared, because of this, and to be reminded and to be thoughtful and intentional. And we can have, I think, extraordinarily meaningful lives. And I do think it is related to serving, giving, sharing. And hopefully today we can do that. Now, I know there's a pandemic, and I know that we are, you know, it's unlike any other MLK Day we've had, but this day is known as a day of service. And for years now, groups have said, rather than just celebrating Dr. King, let's get out and do what he did. And they serve their community, and they do projects of cleaning and helping the elderly, whatever it happens to be. And maybe we're limited in ways this year when we can't do that exactly like we've done before. But as been said in this discussion, there are things we can do for others today. And I hope we will. Thank you so much for being here. And you have made my day. I hope you'll join me every Monday. We're going to experiment, try around, just to see if this time works. Like I said, we're also recording, so hopefully others who are unable to be here because of work and other things can watch it at a later time. But and we'll also, I hope, be able to share it on more platforms. So maybe it'll be on Facebook simultaneously to Zoom and other places. So, but thank you all. I really appreciate you. I certainly have received so much, and I hope you have a great day, fantastic week, and hope to see you next Monday.
Thank
Love
you,
y'all.
Michael.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.